Today I pulled out some of the Dress It Up Mermaid Mix and Coral that I received from Jessie James Beads as part of my design ambassador kit, but you could get these as well. I will try to find the link. Like I said, these are from Dress It Up, which is Jessie James Beads' sister site. And I love buttons, so I have all kinds of different ways I like to use them, and I thought I'd show you one. So we don't need a whole lot of things to do this. The base of this is going to be, y'all, you know, these bangles, you see them at all the thrift stores, and you probably have some in your stash that you wore at some point, but I find them pretty cheap at thrift stores, and when I see them, I pick them up because they work as a great base. Now, if you don't have one of these, you can use some thicker gauge wire or even memory wire and twist the ends or connect it. But we're going to go ahead and use one of these little cheap bangles. We're going to use these beautiful coral buttons that we got. I've got some 22 gauge German style wire, and I've got my bracelet, and then I've got just a pair of chain nose pliers and some wire cutters. And I think that's all we're going to need. If we need more, I'll pull it in. So, and of course your buttons. So I've got these just kind of out. I haven't decided specifically on any of them. So we're just going to play. So I'm going to go ahead and get, let's see how much. I like to work in about foot lengths of wire. So I'm going to start with that. And I'm going to grab my bracelet here and leave, I don't know, what is that? About 3/4 of an inch. You probably don't need even that much. But I'm going to wrap that around my bracelet. Couple, 3 times. And I'm going to end it on the top, not underneath, because that's going to be where it touches the skin, and I'd rather not have that pokey part touching the skin. Now when I cut it, I'm going to cut there. Now if you can wrap it all the way around and have it end up on the top, that's great. You won't have to cut it, but I decided to go ahead and cut mine. And I'm going to use my chain nose pliers to just make sure that end is nice and flat against this top. Alright, I think I need to pull this through real quick and come out on the top. Alright, so now we're going to pick out some buttons. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to use these really big ones. I think they might be a little more bulky than I want. So I'm going to start maybe with one of these medium ones. And I'm going to thread through the back, just like this, and slide it down. And then I'm going to go into, go into the bead that's diagonal from it. And I'm going to make sure my wire goes on the other side of the bracelet. So it came up this side, and I want it to go back down this side. We'll do this a couple times so that makes sense. So I'm going to pull that through. I'm going to try to make sure my wire doesn't twist. Pull, pull, pull. And get that. And make sure your button ends up down flat, just like this. Now you see it's kind of wobbly here, so I think I'm going to go ahead, I'm trying to look and see what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to come back up, I'm going to go under, and then go into the hole if I can. I'm trying. Oh, this is always so much harder on camera. So I'm going here. I'm going to go ahead and pull that under. And I think I'm just going to repeat the same thing we just did and go through the same 2 holes. I think that will be the best way to do this. And you see I keep trying to untwist my wire. I do not want that wire to get twisted. So we're going to go up again and then down back through that same hole. Now if you want to use a wire that's maybe a 24 gauge, that's fine. I cannot assure you that a 20 gauge will let you go through that wire so many times, through that hole so many times. Alright, so we have that button on there. I think one more thing as a precaution, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to hold my button in place and take my wire and wrap it all the way around. just like that, and that secures it just a little bit more. All right, and then I'm going to wrap under and over. And I'm going to do that a couple of times because I want to bring that wire out from the button. This button covers up a good little space here. So I want to bring it out about here. So I'm just going to wrap it a couple times just like that. And then we're going to pick out another button. I think I'm going to go with one a little bit smaller, give it some variation. Now this button only has 2 holes on it. So that means it's going to be on either side. So I've gone in the back and up. And so we'll go in that hole, and again, make sure it winds up on the other side. Pull, make sure the wire doesn't twist. Pull, watch that wire. Hold it tight on your bracelet and get it down there. All right, so we're going to pull up and around, and we're going to go ahead and go back through again. Just like that. And then back in again. All right, and then I'm going to, let's see, which way do I want to go? I want to go all the way around. And again, that just helps stabilize it a little bit. And then we're going to wrap a couple of times. I say a couple, but it's like, you know, a few. And if it's too many, you can either unwrap or just squeeze that wire together. All right, so next we're going to pick another button. And we're just going to keep repeating this. Now I'm going to work on this until I run out of wire, because I know I will, but I just don't like to work with super long lengths of wire because it gets all like wily on you. Hey y'all, this is VoiceOver Hope coming in while there's some silence in the video to let you know if this project looks familiar. That's because I did something very similar on YouTube about 5 years ago, but this is my new and improved updated version with some better wire and these beautiful buttons from Jesse James Beads and Dress It Up buttons. So I hope you enjoy. All right, so I've gone through that one twice. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this around and then go under and wrap it a few times, and then I'm going to continue doing that, and I'll come back in just a minute. All right, so I have just a little bit of wire left, which I know won't be enough to put another button on, so I'm just going to take it and wrap it around a few times here, and then cut it, get up in there, cut it, and then take, again, my chain nose pliers and secure it. And again, I tried to end it on the top. It is a little bit easier if you want to try to end it on the sides, but again, I don't recommend to do it on the bottom because that's where it's going to be touching skin. So I am just using those chain nose pliers to get that end down, and then I'm going to take and get some more wire and just keep repeating this process. So we'll come back when I get toward the end of this and I'll show you how to finish it, but it's basically the same thing, but I want you to see, you know, fitting it in and all of that. All right, here I go. Oh wait, so silly me, you're gonna start this the same way with a little bit of wire here and wrap it. It gets a little tricky because you do have that button there in the way. Just try to wrap it and end where it's not on the underside. I'm getting awful close, so I'm going to make sure it bends up. There. And then here. And my wire's up on the top, so I'm going to give it a couple of loops to give it room to add a new button. And then I gotta pick out another button. Ooh, that one's neat. All right, here we go. All right, so it's time for my last button. And I have done all of these things and I've got my last button picked out. So I'm going in the back and then placing it so that the wire will come out on the other side, pulling it through, making sure that wire doesn't twist, pulling it tight, wrapping it under, going back through the first hole. I can see it. Twisting the wire. It twisted. Ooh, look at that, y'all. We had a wire twist. That hardly ever happens for me. Y'all saw me untwist it. All right, so we're going to pull that out. I am going to unkink that with my flat nose pliers. And then, there we go. Pull it in tight. Go back in. And, oof, I got some craziness. I'm gonna pull tight, tight, tight. There we go. All right. Now you can see I've got a little bit of a gap here, so I can try to work this button over. Just, you know, these are all, remember, just wired on, so you can try to twist them just a little bit. Move your other buttons around. All right, so I've got that on there. I'm going to go ahead and do my wrap around it, and then do a couple of wraps so it doesn't have an awkward space there from the underneath. And then I'm going to just wrap it. So I'm going to the next one around it, and the next one around it, and just kind of overlapping a couple things. All right. And then we're going to make sure that that wire ends up toward the top. Trim up in there. Take our chain nose pliers and tuck that if we can get to it. Alright, y'all, and now we have this gorgeous little button bangle. I love it. I think the gold accent on that coral is absolutely gorgeous. And these coral buttons are perfect for summer. Just beachside. All right, simple, light, easy bracelet. Let me know if y'all have any questions below. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe.
Thanks y'all for watching. I appreciate it. Bye.